Briefing for November 28, 2024. 1. Dynamics within the Trump family. Ivanka and Jared have left the White House and settled in Miami. Eric is managing the family business. Tiffany has gotten married. Barron is serving as a strategic analyst at New York University. 2. Political and business developments of Donald Trump Jr. As the eldest son of President Trump, he has closely followed in his father's footsteps. He owns a series of conservative-related businesses, including a publishing company and a multimillion-dollar podcast deal. Forbes estimates his net worth to be around $50 million, primarily derived from his father's political endeavors. 3. Senator John Fetterman's advice to the Democratic Party. Accept electoral losses. Remain calm. Avoid excessive commentary on the reasons for the November election losses, as there are 4 years to address the issues. 4. The New York City Ballet's The Nutcracker. 2 boys who previously played Fritz will debut in the role of Prince. This role requires exceptional performance and dance skills. Both boys are natural stage stars, full of energy and talent. 5. The film The Nutcracker. It tells the story of a busy real estate developer forced to care for 4 mischievous nephews. Despite a somewhat cliched plot, the performances of the 4 children are outstanding and the highlight of the film. Briefing content. 1. Mexican President Sheinbaum spoke with U.S. President-elect Trump, indicating that migrant groups are no longer arriving at the U.S.-Mexico border. Trump had previously threatened to impose a 25% tariff on Mexico. Both sides have softened their stance and expressed intentions to enhance security cooperation. 2. The Mataboni tribe is applying for federal recognition, a lengthy process requiring extensive historical documentation to prove their identity. Tribe members are actively participating, uncovering many valuable historical documents. Once federal recognition is granted, the tribe will be eligible for federal assistance. 3. Israel and Hezbollah have reached a ceasefire agreement, allowing Israel to focus on rescuing American citizens held by Hamas. The Israeli ambassador stated that this would weaken the ties between Hamas and Hezbollah, enabling Israel to better address the situation in Gaza. 4. Following the acclaim of Disney's animated film Moana, a sequel titled Moana 2 is set to be released. A post-credits scene hints at the possible plot of a 3rd installment, focusing on the villain character, Nalu. This indicates that Disney is planning a complete trilogy for Moana. 5. The Washington Commanders have performed well this season under new ownership, a general manager, and a head coach, boosting fan confidence. Although the team's name change has sparked controversy, as long as they maintain a good record, fan support is unlikely to wane. Briefing. The rise of NVIDIA, from obscurity to tech giant. NVIDIA has undergone a remarkable transformation over the past 20 years. From 2003 to 2023, its workforce has grown nearly 20-fold, making it one of the most prominent companies in the tech industry. 1. Surge in workforce and employee compensation surpassing peers. NVIDIA's employee count has increased from 1,500 in 2003 to 30,000 in 2023. Simultaneously, its median employee salary has surpassed that of Microsoft and other Silicon Valley tech companies, becoming one of the highest in the industry. This is largely due to NVIDIA's soaring stock price and the long tenure of many employees, with several having over 20 years of service. 2. Technological innovation driving company growth. NVIDIA began investing in the development of the CUDA computing architecture as early as 2006, providing robust computing power for its GPUs. This initiative laid the groundwork for NVIDIA's leadership in the artificial intelligence sector, allowing it to maintain a dominant position in the GPU market. 3. Gender diversity needs improvement. Although NVIDIA has a higher proportion of female employees in technical and management roles compared to the industry average, the overall percentage of female employees remains low at only 19.7%. The company has achieved gender pay equity, but further efforts are needed to attract and retain female talent. Overall, NVIDIA has made a stunning transition from obscurity to a tech giant, with significant improvements in employee numbers, compensation levels, and technological innovation capabilities. However, there is still room for improvement in gender diversity. NVIDIA is striving to become a more well-rounded tech company. Briefing content. 1. Israel and Hezbollah have reached a ceasefire agreement, ending 14 months of conflict. This provides a respite for the suffering Lebanese people and allows 60,000 Israeli citizens who were forced to flee their homes to return. 2. However, this agreement primarily serves the interests of Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and does not genuinely address the ongoing tragic situation in Gaza. Netanyahu remains unwilling to engage in peace negotiations mediated by Qatar, focusing instead on confronting Iran. 3. With the upcoming U.S. transition, Donald Trump's isolationist tendencies may impact aid to Ukraine, forcing European countries to take more proactive military and financial support measures to ensure Ukraine has sufficient leverage in future negotiations. 4. The youth unemployment rate in the UK is alarmingly high, prompting the government to implement more targeted policies. These should not only raise the minimum wage, but also improve working conditions and career development opportunities, while strengthening the social security system to provide necessary support for young people. 5. Wendy Williams has been diagnosed with early-onset dementia and aphasia, and her guardians have accused a documentary about her life of violating her right to consent. This highlights the need for better protection of vulnerable individuals' rights in such cases. In summary, these articles cover multiple aspects of the current international landscape, including the Middle East peace process, changes in European security dynamics, reforms in the UK job market, and the protection of celebrity privacy rights, reflecting the complex challenges faced by the global community today. The content is rich and informative, warranting in-depth study and reflection. Briefing content. Time Magazine Series Report, unveiling the stories behind the news. Time and the Sunday Times have been committed to fearlessly reporting the truth at any cost. However, the stories behind these reports are often overlooked, reporters facing life threats, legal disputes, and the resilience and integrity required to obtain the news. This series of independently produced short films showcases the true stories behind significant reports that changed the course of history, thrilling and tense, akin to a thriller. Uniqlo's 40-year development journey. Uniqlo founder Tadashi Yanai has become Japan's richest person, with the company's revenue surpassing 3 trillion yen. Over the past 40 years, Uniqlo has evolved from a regional player to a global brand, facing numerous significant challenges, such as going public and the explosive sales of down jackets. USC football playoff journey. USC has struggled to secure a bowl game this season, at least avoiding the worst outcome. However, they have failed to achieve their goal of contending for the Big Ten championship under Lincoln Riley's coaching. The team has underperformed in the red zone, and issues with defensive depth and roster need to be addressed. After the season, Riley must quickly restore USC to a competitive status, or risk losing more opportunities. In summary, these reports highlight the stories behind the news, Uniqlo's development journey, and USC's struggles this season, providing readers with a comprehensive and in-depth perspective. Briefing for November 28, 2024. 1. The new president of Oxford University stated that cancel culture is absolutely wrong and urged the Labour Party to restore free speech laws. The former Conservative leader indicated that he would put an end to so-called speech bans, as people are concerned about threats to free speech. 2. An Oxford University student, Alexander Rogers, committed suicide, reportedly influenced by cancel culture. The investigation concluded that his suicide may have been affected by feelings of isolation due to being ostracized by classmates. 3. The UK Education Secretary revealed that she has cancelled new laws protecting scholars from speech bans or being forced to resign due to their views. 4. A new gas pizza oven from Lakeland is a brand version of a budget model that has been popular in Australia for several years. This oven is easy to use, can reach 500 degrees Celsius in 15 minutes, is suitable for outdoor use, and offers great value for money. 5. Prince William and Kate Middleton mourned the 17-year-old photographer, Liz Hutton, calling her brave and humble. Hutton passed away at home this Wednesday due to a rare malignant tumor. 6. Russian President Putin stated that he is prepared to engage in dialogue with the US and described Trump as an experienced and wise politician who will find solutions. Putin also threatened to strike decision-making centers in Ukraine with new missiles. 7. Due to Western sanctions and Russia's war expenditures in Ukraine, the Russian ruble has plummeted, but a Kremlin spokesperson stated that Russians will not notice the rising dollar exchange rate, as they are paid in rubles. The following is a briefing summarizing the core content of multiple articles provided. Briefing for November 28, 2024, The Situation in Dahi, Southern Beirut, Lebanon. The article focuses on the experiences of Dahi, a suburb of Beirut in southern Lebanon, during the recent 2 months of the Israel-Lebanon conflict. 1. Dahi has suffered severe destruction, with many buildings destroyed and residents struggling to survive. For instance, the Bilal Munima family can only squeeze into a school shelter, lacking electricity and basic necessities. 2. Despite Hezbollah claiming victory, the residents of Dahi do not share this sentiment. They view the conflict as a personal humiliation. Some had decided to sell their homes and leave the country, unwilling to endure a war that recurs every 10 years. 3. In stark contrast, Hezbollah flags are flying throughout Dahi, with people celebrating victory. However, some question whether this truly constitutes a victory, believing that Hezbollah has actually been weakened. 4. The article also mentions the views of some elderly residents who disagree with the fervor of the youth, asserting that this is not a true victory. Yet, others believe that even after suffering heavy losses, Hezbollah can reorganize and continue to fight, which they see as a form of victory. Overall, the article vividly depicts Dahi's experiences during the war, showcasing the differing perspectives of local residents on victory and highlighting the significant impact the conflict has had on their lives. Briefing. The article focuses on the strong condemnation from Morocco's Justice and Development Party towards Ahmed Shara'i, editor of the Jerusalem Strategic Forum. Shara'i has published articles in various media, criticizing the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. The Moroccan party's statement claims that Shara'i openly serves certain parties and interest groups and incites the public to defend national interests. Shara'i responded by stating that such hateful incitement and accusations of patriotism damage Morocco's democratic image and hinder the establishment of a public space for free and inclusive discourse. The article also notes that Shara'i is the editor of National Interest magazine and is committed to promoting peace and understanding in the Middle East. His views have also been supported by the Washington Post, which argues that the ICC's actions undermine its credibility. In summary, the article highlights an incident involving freedom of speech and regional tensions, emphasizing Shara'i's role as a peace advocate in the Middle East and the Moroccan party's strong condemnation of him, reflecting the challenges facing public discourse in the region. Briefing. November 28, 2024. Topic: Süddeutsche Zeitung Investigation Report. Süddeutsche Zeitung recently released a series of investigative reports covering various aspects. 1. Changes in product rating standards. The previous 1 to 5 rating system has been changed to a 1 to 6 grading system, which helps to more accurately reflect product quality. 2. Recommendations for children's high chairs. The Trip Trap high chair from stock is praised for its user-friendly design that can be adjusted as children grow, making it popular among parents. 3. Importance of protecting information sources. Süddeutsche Zeitung places great importance on protecting the privacy and security of information sources, providing various secure communication channels, such as secure drop and encrypted emails, for whistleblowers to use. 4. Warnings about the rise of right-wing politics in Germany. The play People's Citizen depicts a moderate politician's clever rise to power, prompting reflection on constitutional democracy. The author argues that the Constitution alone cannot fully prevent the abuse of power. The key lies in the collective maintenance of constitutional order by society. Overall, these reports cover product evaluations, recommendations for children's products, information source protection, and political dynamics, providing rich content that merits attention. Süddeutsche Zeitung's professionalism and sense of social responsibility in investigative reporting are commendable. Briefing for November 28, 2024. 1. Central Military Commission member Miao Hua has been suspended and is under investigation for serious violations of discipline. Miao has served as the head of the Political Work Department of the Central Military Commission since 2017 and was elected as a member of the Central Military Commission in the same year. 2. The robotics company Machine Vision has officially launched operations in the Xiong'an area, injecting new momentum into the local AI industry. The company focuses on industrial 3D cameras and AI-based intelligent robotics software, relocating its headquarters from Beijing to Xiong'an. 3. China may respond to the new tariffs on imports from China announced by President Trump by devaluing the yuan, which could trigger a currency war, posing significant risks for both China and the U.S. 4. Young political leaders from China and Arab countries are calling for strengthened mutually beneficial cooperation to advance the Belt and Road Initiative. China has signed cooperation documents with 22 Arab countries and the Arab League, implementing over 200 projects. 5. China has built the world's first machine capable of laying underwater cables at Challenger Deep, marking another significant advancement in human exploration of the Earth's deepest points. Overall, this briefing covers important developments in China's military, technology, economy, and diplomacy, providing a comprehensive overview that highlights key information points while maintaining a concise and efficient summary for readers. Briefing for November 28, 2024. 1. Yomiuri Shimbun will launch a new stock index, the Yomiuri 333 Index, in March next year. The index will consist of 333 listed companies representing Japan, using an equal weight calculation method to provide investors with more diversified investment options. The government and investors have high expectations for this, believing it will help attract domestic and foreign investment, promote corporate growth, and return benefits to the public. 2. A 4.8 magnitude earthquake occurred in Japan. At 5:31 p.m. on November 24, a 4.8 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Ishikawa Prefecture, with the strongest tremors reaching level 4, but no tsunami was triggered. 3. North Korean defector Kong Gyuri shares her experience of fleeing North Korea. 24-year-old Kong Gyuri, pseudonym, escaped from North Korea in 2023, primarily due to dissatisfaction with the authorities' harsh crackdown on South Korean culture, such as K-dramas. She stated that young people are no longer loyal to Kim Jong-un's regime, indicating a change in North Korean society. 4. The Japanese Diet convened a special session. Following the October House of Representatives elections, the ruling Liberal Democratic Party Komeito coalition lost its majority in the House. They are expected to seek cooperation from the Democratic Party of the People to pass the supplementary budget for 2024. The session will last for 24 days and will discuss issues such as adjusting the tax-exempt threshold for annual income of 1 million yen. Attention is on how the opposition-led budget committee will advance the review. Overall, this briefing covers significant developments in Japan's political, economic, and social spheres, highlighting key information points while providing a concise summary of the article's content, aiming for a comprehensive, objective, and balanced overview. Briefing for November 28, 2024. 1. Oita Prefecture will restart Japan's only hydrofoil passenger service. Oita Prefecture will restart the hydrofoil passenger service in December, connecting Oita Airport and Oita City, with a travel time of approximately 30 minutes. This marks the first restart of hydrofoil passenger services in Japan in 15 years. Hydrofoils are amphibious vessels that can travel on the water's surface. The service will be operated by Oita First Hydrofoil Company, a subsidiary of Kitakyushu Daiichi Transportation Company. From the late 1960s until 2009, Japan had multiple hydrofoil routes, but all have since ceased operations. The Oita hydrofoil route peaked in the 1990s with an annual passenger volume of 400,000 but gradually declined and was discontinued. 2. Russia warns Japan that if the U.S. deploys missiles in Japan, it will threaten Russian security. Reports indicate that Japan and the U.S. are developing a joint military plan to respond to emergencies in Taiwan, including deploying missile forces in southwestern Japan's Kagoshima and Okinawa, as well as the Philippines. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zakharova stated that if the US deploys intermediate-range missiles in Japan, it would pose a real threat to Russian security, and Russia would have to take necessary reciprocal measures to strengthen its defense capabilities. Zakharova also mentioned that Russia's recently updated nuclear strategy expands the scenarios in which Russia might consider using nuclear weapons. 3. U.S. citizens released and returning to the U.S. The U.S. announced that 3 American citizens, Mark Swiden, Li Kai, and Leon Jun, who had been imprisoned in China for years, have been released and are returning to the U.S. This marks a rare diplomatic agreement reached between the Biden administration and China. The 3 were previously recognized by the U.S. government as being illegally detained by China. U.S.-China relations have been tumultuous for years due to trade, human rights, and other issues. The release of American citizens indicates that both sides have maintained dialogue during the upcoming transition of power. 4. The governor of Hyogo Prefecture is suspected of violating election laws. Governor Motohiko Saito of Hyogo Prefecture is suspected of violating election laws prohibiting the payment of rewards for vote solicitation during the recent election. A public relations company executive posted online claiming she was responsible for Sato's overall public relations work, including managing social media accounts. This has raised questions about whether this constitutes illegal vote solicitation. Saito explained that the payments to the PR company were for legitimate campaign activities such as poster production, not for rewards. Lawyers also stated that the actions were not illegal. However, experts believe that if the services provided were supposed to be compensated but were actually free, it could also constitute an illegal donation. Briefing for November 28, 2024. Theme: Sydney Morning Herald. Key information points. 1. The Sydney City Council is promoting a large-scale housing construction plan, but the Mayor of Ryde in Sydney expressed shock and disappointment at the government's planning proposal for the Macquarie Park area, which aims to build 20,571 homes. The Mayor is concerned that this may impact local employment and infrastructure. 2. The Stalled phone box, launched by tidying expert Marie Kondo, has sparked controversy. The product aims to reduce digital clutter by interfering with phone signals, but has been criticized as a useless marketing gimmick. 3. The Australian government is considering banning social media use for children under 16, but the author believes this is insufficient and that all unpleasant social media content should be further cleaned up. 4. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York took place as scheduled during the 2024 Thanksgiving holiday, despite rainy weather, attracting numerous balloons, floats, and celebrity performances. 5. In Vang Vieng, Laos, a poisoning incident occurred at a youth hostel, resulting in the deaths of 6 tourists. Police suspect the cause was the consumption of alcoholic beverages laced with methanol, leading to the arrest of 8 staff members. In summary, this briefing covers multiple hot topics, including the Sydney City Council's housing plans, social media regulation, the Thanksgiving parade, and safety incidents in Laos, highlighting the most valuable information points while succinctly summarizing the article's content, achieving a rich and clear structure. The following is a briefing summarizing the main content of multiple articles provided. The ongoing postal strike in Canada is affecting mail delivery services. Federal Labor Minister McKenna stated that there are significant differences between the postal company and the union, preventing an agreement. She urged both sides to reconsider their positions and return to the negotiating table. The strike primarily revolves around issues of wages, benefits, and weekend deliveries. The postal company seeks to increase the number of temporary and part-time employees to reduce costs, but the union opposes this. This strike is occurring during the peak holiday shopping season, causing severe impacts on consumers and businesses. The government may once again take mandatory intervention measures, requiring both sides to resolve the dispute through arbitration. Smartphone addiction issues are prompting reflection. The author attempted to give up their smartphone for 2 weeks, switching to a simple flip phone. They found that losing the smartphone made communication with friends more limited and dull, but improved sleep quality and focus. Research shows that about 1/3 of people are at risk of smartphone addiction. Symptoms of addiction include difficulty concentrating and an inability to control usage time. Some companies have begun offering dumb phones, which remove many features of smartphones, attracting a number of young users. This reflects a backlash against excessive reliance on smartphones. Ultimately, the author chose to continue using a smartphone but will implement measures such as using apps to limit usage time for better control. Challenges for the Canadian economy following Trump's election. Trump's election may impact the Canadian economy due to his trade policies. He threatened to impose a 25% tariff on all goods imported from Canada, immediately leading to a drop in the Canadian dollar's exchange rate. This may force the Canadian government to increase defense spending, limiting spending in other areas, such as measures to address rising living costs. The real estate market has recently performed strongly but is affected by rising interest rates. If economic growth slows, the central bank may further cut interest rates. Overall, the Trump factor introduces uncertainty for the Canadian economy and personal finances, with future trends fraught with challenges. Briefing for November 28, 2024, the annual conference on radiation protection in Australia concludes successfully. From October 20 to 24, 2024, the Australian Radiation Protection Society, ARPS, held its annual conference at the Pacific Bay Resort in Coffs Harbour, New South Wales. The conference, themed Radiation Protection from Bananas to Ships, attracted numerous radiation protection professionals, researchers, and industry experts. During the opening ceremony, Dr. Gillian Hurst, CEO of the Australian Radiation Protection and Nuclear Safety Agency, ARPANSA, delivered a keynote speech titled Radiation Protection Management in a Rapidly Changing Environment. Throughout the conference, extensive discussions were held on topics such as medical radiation, environmental monitoring, non-ionizing radiation, and regulatory frameworks. On the final day of the conference, a special international radon workshop was held, where experts from various countries exchanged the latest research and regulatory approaches regarding radon exposure. Additionally, renowned medical physicist and radiation safety expert Associate Professor Lee Collins delivered a lecture titled Adventures in the Land of Radiation, a personal journey from invisible light to blazing light. The conference also featured booths from radiation detection equipment manufacturers, nuclear science organizations, and radiation safety service providers, along with social events such as a welcome reception and a gala dinner. Finally, several radiation protection contribution awards were presented. The next ARPS conference will be announced in the coming months. The following is a briefing summarizing the content of multiple articles provided. Russia may use the new hypersonic missile Oaks to attack decision-making centers in Kiev. Russian President Putin stated that Russia might use the new hypersonic missile Oaks in response to Ukraine's long-range strikes against Russian territory using Western weapons. Putin claimed that the Oaks missile cannot be intercepted, but Western experts expressed skepticism. Russia plans to significantly increase production of advanced missile systems. Putin also asserted that the destructive power of the Oaks missile is comparable to that of nuclear weapons, but it will not carry a nuclear warhead or produce radioactive contamination. A man in Singapore fined 4,500 SGD for his dog not being leashed and not wearing a mask. A Singapore man was fined 4,500 SGD after his unrestrained and unmasked bull terrier attacked another man's Shiba Inu. The man had previously been fined 3 times for similar offenses, amounting to 200 SGD, 200 SGD, and 1,000 SGD. At the time of the incident, the bull terrier lunged at the Shiba Inu and bit its leash, causing injury to the Shiba Inu. Millions in the Chicago area begin returning home for Thanksgiving. On the eve of Thanksgiving, millions in the Chicago area are starting to travel home for the holiday, placing immense pressure on local roads and airports. November 23, Wednesday, is expected to be the busiest day, with peak congestion occurring between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Many travelers are opting to drive rather than fly to avoid crowded airports. Amtrak, the rail service, is also expecting record passenger numbers. LVMH chairman Arnault claims to know nothing about the company's alleged illegal surveillance case. LVMH chairman and CEO Arnault stated in court that he was unaware that a trusted executive had ordered illegal surveillance. The case involves a former head of the French intelligence agency hired by LVMH, accused of illegally collecting personal information and monitoring leftist activists opposing LVMH. Arnault claimed he had no knowledge of the executive's actions and that LVMH has clear policies to comply with the law. LVMH has previously paid €14.2 million in settlement. The following is a briefing summarizing the content of multiple articles provided. Briefing for November 28, 2024. 1. Air pollution control. The Supreme Court stated that the GRAP 4 measures in Delhi will continue until December 2, except for schools and universities. The Commission for Air Quality Management (CAQM) will hold a meeting on December 2 to recommend relaxing GRAP 4 standards to GRAP 3 or GRAP 2. The court has asked CAQM to consider implementing a combination of GRAP 4 and GRAP 3 measures. The court pointed out that law enforcement has failed to effectively control trucks and other interstate vehicles entering Delhi. 2. Stock market performance. India's major stock indices fell nearly 1.5%, dragged down by declines in key stocks. Information technology and consumer stocks led the decline, while state-owned bank stocks performed relatively well. Global stock markets exhibited mixed trends, with U.S. stocks closing lower on Wednesday. 3. The book New India. Author Rahul Bhatia explores the rising Hindutva nationalism in India over the past decade. He documents the transformation of friends and family from moderate to extreme views, feeling confused and shocked. 4. Amendments to the WACC bill. The lower house extended the term of the Joint Committee until the conclusion of the 2025 budget session. The opposition criticized the amendments as violating the religious rights of Muslims, while the ruling party claimed they would enhance the transparency and accountability of the WACC Commission. Intense debates occurred within the committee, ultimately reaching a consensus to extend the term to gather broader opinions. Overall, these articles cover the latest developments and controversies in India regarding air pollution control, stock market dynamics, nationalist sentiments, and religious rights, providing readers with a comprehensive overview of important issues.